In January 2025, an unknown TikTok user posted a short video. It showed an ugly AI-generated image of a shark with 3 legs wearing blue Nike sneakers. Over the image played an AI voice, mumbling nonsense in an Italian accent. The video lasted a few seconds. No meaning, no idea, no plot. 3 months later, hundreds of millions of people would know that shark. 6 months later, it would form the basis of a video game played by 25 million people simultaneously. Within a year, the Prime Minister of Hungary would post a TikTok featuring a dancing wooden log from the same meme universe, and stickers of these creatures would be sold at every newsstand in Italy. This is the story of how absolute garbage became global culture. This is the story of Italian brain rot. To understand what happened, you need to start at the very beginning, with a single sound. Sometime in late 2023 or early 2024, Italian TikTok users started creating memes featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson speaking Italian and rhyming nonsense words. One of these memes contained the phrase "Trallalero trallala," an expression from Italian nursery rhymes, something like a sing-song "tra-la-la." Nobody paid much attention, but the audio track remained. It sat in TikTok's system, waiting. In early January 2025, a user called Easburger401 posted a video in which an AI-generated Italian male voice recited an absurd story about playing Fortnite with his son and being interrupted by his grandmother named Ornella. The voice was generated using 11 Labs, the default male model called Adam. The creator was almost immediately banned, presumably for the audio's profane content, but the damage was done. On January 13th, another user, amoamimandy.1a, layered that same sound over an AI-generated image of a blue shark with 3 legs wearing Nike sneakers. The video hit 7 million views, then 17 million. And just like that, Trallalero Trallala was born, the first character of Italian brain rot. So what exactly is Italian brain rot? It's a series of internet memes built on absurd AI-generated images of hybrid creatures. Animals crossed with household objects, food, weapons, vehicles, musical instruments, and other random things. They're given pseudo-Italian names with suffixes like ini, ello, and ino. Over the images plays an AI voice, typically generated by 11 Labs using the default male model called Adam, that narrates nonsensical stories about these creatures in broken Italian. The voiceovers rhyme. They chant. They repeat the character names over and over in a rhythm that burrows into your brain and refuses to leave. Visually, it looks like the dream of a malfunctioning neural network. The images are sloppy, poorly rendered, and deliberately ugly. Audibly, it sounds like an Italian children's show written by someone in a fever dream, performed by a robot that only half understands the language. There is 0 intellectual content, 0 narrative depth, 0 artistic intent. And yet somehow, this became one of the biggest cultural phenomena of 2025. A phenomenon that crossed borders, languages, age groups, and platforms at a speed that no marketing team on Earth could have engineered. More characters began to appear, each more absurd than the last. Trallalero Trallala, the shark in sneakers, was first. Then came Bombardiro Crocodilo, a hybrid of a crocodile and a World War II-era bomber plane. He has a brother, a goose with fighter jet wings named Bombombini Gusini. Then came Tung 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 Sahur. This character isn't even Italian, he's Indonesian, created by user Nox Asht in February 2025. Tung 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 Sahur is an anthropomorphic wooden log holding a baseball bat. The name is onomatopoeia for the Indonesian drum beaten to wake Muslims for sahur. the pre-dawn meal before fasting during Ramadan. According to the meme's lore, if you're called to sahur 3 times and don't respond, this creature comes for you. The original TikTok video amassed 81 million views. Then came Ballerina Cappuccina, a ballerina with a cappuccino cup for a head, married to Cappuccino Assassino, a ninja cup. Then Chimpanzini Bananini, half monkey, half banana. Trippy Troppy, either a cat with a shrimp's body or an obese bear with a fish head, nicknamed the King of the Sea. Larilli Larilla, a cactus elephant walking in the desert with flippers. Burr Patapim, a hybrid of a forest and a monkey with enormous feet. Boneka Ambalabu, an Indonesian character that's a frog merged with a tire and human legs. And dozens, hundreds more. Every single day, someone created a new one. Because you don't need talent for this, you don't need drawing skills, you don't need a studio or a budget, you just need access to generative AI and the imagination of a 5-year-old. The barrier to entry is 0, and that's exactly why it exploded. And this is where it gets truly interesting. These memes became enormously popular with Generation Alpha, children born after 2010, kids who were between 6 and 15 years old in 2025. For them, Italian brain rot became what Pokémon was for previous generations. They memorized character names. They argued about who was strongest. They created their own versions. They screamed, "Trallalero, tralala," during recess. Teachers in schools around the world faced the same problem. Children could not stop repeating these names. Polish radio noted the meme was popular among children because it's stupid, funny, and very addictive. Therapist Cheryl Eskin from a teen mental health organization described Italian brain rot as digital cotton candy for the brain, chaotic, fast, funny, and completely unfiltered. Italian animator and teacher Fabian Moselle offered a different explanation. He said, "Italian is a funny-sounding language. The memes use nonsense rhymes that are easy to mimic, and since everything is AI native, kids can create their own versions with free tools." He added, "For kids, it's a sort of secret language that parents don't understand, which makes it way cooler." He also said, "It feels punk. It's internet folklore, a grassroots, participatory universe that big studios have no control over." By March 2025, Italian brain rot had burst beyond TikTok. But nobody expected how far it would go. On May 15, 2025, a game called Steal a Brain Rot launched on Roblox. It was created by a Brazilian developer known as Spider Sammy. The concept is simple. You buy brain rots, pixelated characters from the memes. They generate in-game money for you. But any other player can come and steal your character. You have to defend yourself. It's like Pokémon, but with one difference. Someone can take your Pokémon. Sounds simple, but psychologically, it's genius. Kids form emotional attachments to their characters. They build collections. And then someone comes and takes the rarest one. Kids cry, literally. Videos of children crying after losing their brain rots went viral on TikTok and YouTube. Tens of millions of views, parents horrified. And the game just keeps growing. By July, Steal a Brain Rot had accumulated 7 billion total visits and 5 million concurrent players. To put that in perspective, Counter-Strike 2 on Steam peaks at about 1.5 million concurrent players. Even the most anticipated AAA game releases barely reach 500,000. By August, Steal a Brain Rot hit 20 million concurrent players. That's more than Fortnite's all-time record of 15.3 million, set during a Marvel event in 2020. On August 23rd, the admin war happened. A planned competition between Steal a Brain Rot and another popular Roblox game, Grow a Garden. Both developers hyped the rivalry on social media. Fans flooded both games. The result? Roblox, as a platform, hit 47.4 million concurrent players, more than Steam's record, more than any gaming platform in history. And on September 13th, Steal a Brainrot set the absolute Roblox record, 25.4 million concurrent players. One game, about meme creatures, generated by AI, from garbage TikTok videos. The game brought not just records, but scandals. In September, the creator of Tung 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 Sahur, the Indonesian user Nox Asht, and his agency Momentum Lab, demanded the character be removed from the game over copyright infringement. Spider Sammy temporarily removed it, but then, in late November, added it back, apparently without an official licensing agreement. This conflict exposed the central problem of Italian brain rot. Who owns characters created with AI? If a neural network generated the image, who's the author? The person who wrote the prompt? The company that built the neural network? Nobody? That question still has no answer. Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite, officially licensed Steal a Brainrot for their platform. The Fortnite creative version broke the record for concurrent players on a custom island. 500,000 people. Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney personally celebrated with a series of retweets. And in January 2026, Steal a Brainrot hosted a virtual concert by Bruno Mars. 12.8 million concurrent viewers, plus 10 million watching live streams. In a game built on garbage memes featuring AI-generated animals. But the memes didn't just enter games, they entered store shelves. Italian company Skifadol acquired the rights to the Italian Brainrot brand and released trading cards. Panini, the same Panini that makes football sticker albums, released an Italian Brainrot sticker album. At Italian newsstands, packs flew off the shelves. The magazine L'Espresso compared the frenzy among children to the popularity of Garbage Pail Kids cards in the 80s. Meme coins followed predictably. In March 2025, a cryptocurrency called Italian Rot appeared. Volatile, speculative, based on nothing but hype. Like all meme coins, brands around the world began using the characters in marketing. In October 2025, Dunkin' Donuts released a limited Peru-exclusive line of Italian brainrot-themed donuts. In Indonesia, production house D Company announced plans to make a film about Tung 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 Sahur. A Latin American troupe staged an Italian brainrot musical that made it to Broadway on August 29, 2025. The theater was packed with children screaming character names and filming cosplayers on their iPhones. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban posted a TikTok in which a three-dimensional model of Tung 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 Sahur danced at a government meeting. A politician leading a European Union member state used a meme about a wooden log from Indonesian Ramadan, generated by artificial intelligence, to get views on TikTok. That is the reality of 2025. But not everyone was thrilled. Not by a long shot. Criticism came from several directions, and some of it was serious. First, the content itself. The original Trallalero Tralala audio contained profanity and blasphemy, including insults directed at God and Allah in Italian. The character Bombardiero Crocodilo, the bomber crocodile, in its lyrics, referenced bombing civilians in Gaza. Radio France Internationale called the use of pseudo-Italian names a bit problematic. China's Legal Daily compared Italian brainrot's popularity among children to Elsagate, the scandal over inappropriate content targeting children on YouTube. Second, the question of AI and copyright. All these characters were created by generative artificial intelligence. Anyone with access to an image generator can create a new one. That makes copyright virtually unenforceable. The Tung 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 Sahur dispute in Steal a Brain Rot was just the first of many such conflicts to come. And yet, despite the criticism, despite the controversy, despite the concerns from parents and educators and cultural commentators, Italian brain rot did not disappear. It refused to die. By mid-2025, the initial TikTok hype wave started to fade. The meme lost its novelty on the platform. Users began posting videos titled, "Was this all a dream?" in which the characters morphed back into ordinary animals and objects. But by then, the meme had already escaped the internet entirely. The trading cards kept selling. The Roblox game kept setting records. The musical toured. New characters continued to appear well into March 2026. The Italian Brain Rot Wiki documents over 100 unique characters. Fan communities write lore, create tier lists, and compose biographies for AI-generated creatures as if they were real fictional characters in a proper fictional universe. Here is what you need to understand about Italian brain rot. It's not a meme anymore. It hasn't been a meme for a long time. It's a cultural ecosystem that grew from nothing, from an AI-generated image of an ugly shark in sneakers, from meaningless Italian audio, from a few seconds of absolute garbage. And that ecosystem now includes collectible stickers by Panini, a video game with 25 million concurrent players, meme coins, a musical on Broadway, donuts from Dunkin' Donuts, a virtual Bruno Mars concert, a post by the Prime Minister of Hungary, and plans for a feature film in Indonesia. The term brain rot, meaning the deterioration of your mind from consuming meaningless content, was named Oxford's Word of the Year in 2024. 1 year later, that term became the name of a cultural phenomenon worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Italian animator Fabian Mosel said, "It feels punk. It's internet folklore, a participatory universe that big studios have no control over." German newspaper Die Tageszeitung called it a creative approach to technology, language, and pop culture. And meanwhile, children around the world keep screaming, "Tung Tung Tung Sahur," during school recess. Here's what everyone missed. We're used to thinking that culture is created by people, that behind every character there's an author, behind every world, a creator, behind every story, a human who imagined it. Italian brain rot is the first case in history where a global cultural phenomenon was created not by a person and not by a corporation. It was created by noise, by randomness, by an algorithm, by a neural network that drew a shark in sneakers, and by millions of children who decided it was funny. Think about that for a moment. These characters have no author, no owner, no canon, no rules, no origin story written by a screenwriter, no lore Bible approved by a creative director. Anyone can create a new character in 30 seconds. Anyone can declare an old one dead. There are no gatekeepers, no executives, no focus groups. This is the first truly decentralized fictional universe in history. A universe with no center, no hierarchy, and no quality control. And it's worth more than many franchises that took decades to build, that employed thousands of people, that spent billions on development and marketing. The shark in sneakers, generated by accident by a neural network, is more culturally relevant in 2025 than characters that were carefully designed by teams of artists over years. Some will call this the decline of culture, the final proof that attention spans have collapsed, that taste has evaporated, that we've surrendered our minds to algorithms and noise. Others will call it the dawn of something new, the first glimpse of what happens when creation becomes truly democratic, when anyone with a phone can build a world, when culture stops being handed down from above and starts growing from below. But the fact remains, undeniable.